Hey guys, welcome back to our training session here at your Senior Benefit Solution. We are going to go over a couple of additional things today. Okay, we're going to go over how to properly present, what scripts we'll use, and the scripts will be attached in the video, certain objections that we get, and then also what leads we use, and just so that you know what are leads, how are they actually generated and things of that nature, so that you kind of get a little bit of a better understanding, especially if you're new to the industry. Okay. Now, the other thing that I wanted us to look at here is the certain topics that we'll be covering today for you to learn and understand how to properly close a client, right? There's a lot of agents, they unfortunately don't know how to properly close, and therefore they don't convert, and therefore they don't make money, right? And then also the purpose of the presentation, how to effectively communicate, how the emotional sale works, how to be enthusiastic and have a positive mental attitude, how do you assume the sale from the get-go, right? And don't ask for permission, more so you lead throughout the entire presentation, certain objections that you'll run into, how to overcome those, and then also some sort of a blueprint pitch for when you're on the phones. Okay. Now, how do you learn to qualify? You basically, if you don't know how to qualify a prospect, you can't really make any care recommendations, and therefore you probably shouldn't be on the phone. Okay. So it's really important that you understand the process, that you practice it very well, and then when you feel ready enough, you can then go out there and start making problems, start making or putting that into play. Okay. Now you want to make sure, and we're going to learn about the different plans that are available in the areas. Okay. So we're going to learn together, but you also have to do your homework and do your research. Okay. You want to make sure that you learn about the difference in medications, how to read plan formularies, how to ask a quick handful of questions to be of service, okay? And we'll utilize those questions at a later point, or the answers that they're giving you to the question at a later point, to point the client in the direction that we want them to go. And then also learn how to take the information you've collected to make recommendations, okay? Now, as far as the presentations goes, while you're presenting, make sure you always, guys, practice effective communication. I can't stress that enough, because you have to make sure that you are effectively communicating, not just that the client understands you, but overall that we're both on the same page. Okay, that is effective communication to me, that we're comprehending what we're both saying and that we're on the same page. All right, we're here on page 16. Okay. You do want to assume the sale from the beginning. Reason being, if you have that attitude and that mindset, remember where attention goes, energy flows. So if we're thinking that direction, very often that helps you get towards that direction or that goal. Okay. And throughout the entire presentation, or while you're talking with a client, be enthusiastic. Okay. Once you get off the phone, if you need to breathe out or whatever you need to do, certainly do that while you're off the phone. But just remember, once you hop back on the phone and get the next prospect on the line, it's really important that you forget whatever happened and remember that this is the first time this person will hear your voice, very likely, right? So therefore, you have to give it your all. Okay. You can't come with a negative Nancy attitude because of a client just hung up on you or anything of that nature. Okay. And then also kind of goes along with what I just stated, you do have to keep a positive mental attitude. It is so vital in our business because we do get a lot of no's, and we're only looking for the people that are looking for us to help them, right? We're looking for the yeses. But as in any business that is sales related, you will always have to go through a few no's to get some yeses, okay? So don't expect just to get yeses overall. There will be some yeses and there will be some no's. Right. And then also you want to build the sale around the specific needs. So it's really important that you do actively listen to the customer. or the prospect, simply because they will share a lot of information and maybe even their concerns with you. And if you properly listen to that individual, you're able to use that against them. And when I say against them, you are able to provide a solution that has the problem fixed, the problem solved within the presentation. Okay. You don't want to ever ask for permission. And I say that lightly, and I wrote that lightly here. What I mean with that is, again, you're the advisor. So you are there to guide them and advise them on what would be best. Yes, they have to make the decision. And yes, we have to ask them for permission or get their acknowledgement and stating, yes, I'd like to enroll into this plan. But I've mentioned before that when you hear me talk to a client to grab their Medicare ID card, I'm not going to ask Ms. Jones, Ms. Jones, would you be so kind and grab your Medicare ID card for me, right? And if I say it in that tone, I say it a little bit more like in a demanding way almost. And this is not to be disrespectful to our elders or seniors or Medicare eligible members. It's simply, we need to make sure from the beginning till the end that they know that we're in control. So if a TV is on and it's too loud and that's affecting your communication with the potential customer, you want to make sure that you take control by asking them, hey, Ms. Jones, could you go ahead and turn that TV down for me? You're kind of asking, and I could have even said, do you mind turning down the TV? But it is a question. I guess it's what it's, in this case, it's how you say it, right? And not what you say. So you have to make sure that they are aware that you're running this ship, okay? And it's not them. So otherwise, they're going to trample all over you. They're going to take you to the grocery store that they just went to with stories and all that kind of stuff. And it is okay to do it, but you need to be able to quickly reel them back in and say, hey, we got to go this way. You're going the other way. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, always address the objection. Never let somebody give you an objection and you don't even recognize it or acknowledge it or anything of that nature. We always want to actually address what their concern is, because there's a reason why they're bringing that up to you. And in the slides to come, we're going to break down the objections so you'll understand better what I'm referring to. All right. Now, as far as effective communication, guys, what I meant with that is you have to be considerate of the people you're calling, okay? You always want to introduce yourself and explain the purpose of your call as soon as you can. Otherwise, you might get hung up on, because you have to remember they get so many calls each and every day, okay? And if you just sound like the last person that just calls, then you might just get hung up on as well. So it's so important that you stimulate the interest and let them know why you can help them solve the problem that they have. Okay. That's another reason why I enjoy being an independent agent or have access to multiple insurance companies, because we might be able to help them with what somebody just couldn't help them, because they may be just like for one carrier and the client is asking for a specific product that is only offered with another carrier that we per se have access to. Okay. And then also remember to have a conversation with your prospect. You need to take time and actually listen, but also address their questions and concern. Okay. And if there's multiple, then concerns. Now, conform to the style of the prospect. As an example here, if they talk fast, you want to match their energy. You want to talk fast as well. Okay. If somebody talks loud, I'm not saying you have to yell, but maybe they can't hear well, and that's why they talk loud. Okay. If somebody talks a little country, I'm not saying you have to completely change your attitude and talk country, but you might want to lean in a little bit towards their direction and talk. If I have someone that speaks super proper, I'm going to match their energy and I speak more proper. If I talk to somebody that speaks lower income without being disrespectful, then I'm going to speak a little bit more like that. Now go ahead and grab that for me. Okay. That's how they understand, because at the end of the day, right, people don't buy the product, they buy you. And if they like you, they will trust you and they will actually go with what you're advising them on going with. Okay. But in order for them to like you, you have to build that relationship. And because we're doing this over the phone, it is so vital that you ensure that you're meeting them where they are. Okay. You want to find the right balance between saying too much and too little. Listening is always more important than speaking. Sometimes some of us, including myself, right? We like to talk. We don't like to listen so much, but we can learn so much when we listen. Okay. So the more they're speaking, the better you're doing because they feel comfortable. Okay. And then don't allow for dead air. When you look up stuff on the computer for them and you're on the phone or anything of that nature, you're keying something in, small talk. It is so important. And I cannot stress enough how long 5 minutes seem if nobody's talking. Okay. So now, Ms. Jones, what you have for breakfast? It doesn't matter, guys. How's the weather over in Virginia today? Well, over here, it's pretty cloudy, da 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 da. Whatever you can come up with to keep the conversation going while you're looking up if they have LIS, while you're trying to check on the status, put in an application. And oftentimes you can even tell them what you're currently doing because remember, they don't see the screen, okay? Jones, all I'm doing is I'm keying in your information into the computer system here. If you don't mind bearing with me just a couple seconds, I'm trying to see if you have the extra help program already and what level you have. And if not, if everything works out, I might be able to get you qualified. So we'll take a look at that in just a few seconds. While I did all of that, I already have the answer by now, okay? Boom, we can move on to the next one, all right? So just keep conversation going. Dead air is the worst thing you can do on the phone, all right? And when I was talking about the enthusiasm and the positive mental attitude, so on the left-hand side in the red, you do see that enthusiasm is contagious, right? So if you build enthusiasm into your presentation, your persona and empathy towards the prospect will actually be recognized as a leader and someone that they can truly trust, okay? Just put yourself into the position thinking about when you last spoke with a representative for anything that you purchased, etc., or maybe a plan that you have, right? Just put yourself into that mindset and like, how did I feel when I was working with that person? Were they super kind and helpful and things of that nature? Okay. You will never see your prospect face to face, so very likely you won't. So the best way for them to trust you is to show you how enthusiastic you are, to help them and knowledgeable you are on available programs. And that knowledgeable piece, guys, again, sometimes we don't know everything and it's totally perfectly fine. As long as you can talk to people, they will never find out that you didn't have a clue. And I'm not telling you here to make up stories or like when I say make up stories, I'm not telling you to share false information. We work in sales, we make up stories. Facts tell, stories sell. So if my friend tells me a story about her uncle's health condition or whatever, or something positive that happened, I might call that person my uncle. So I made that up, right? But I'm doing that because, again, I want my customer to feel good and I want my customer to think I'm such a great person that they want to work with me. And hopefully that is the case, right? Now, moving on to the right side, the positive mental health attitude, guys, or the positive mental attitude. You do have to remember that many of these prospects you will be actually calling, they are not expecting that you're going to call them, right? And additionally, may not be receptive towards you, okay? Remember, they get thousands of calls, like literally 18 to 20 calls a day from different kinds of telemarketers. So you're not the first one that's calling, you're not the first one that's talking about it. And very often you're not the first one that's talking about the exact same thing because some of these people fill out 5 of the forms, okay? And then concern and complain, why we calling? They just got enrolled and da 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 da. We're just doing our job. We're the caseworker for this file. This file was exclusively assigned to us. So I know you're getting a lot of calls, but unfortunately, guys, they get calls because they're in a specific age range. You can purchase data lists for specific age ranges in a specific zip code, county, state, and telemarketers overseas, even some here in the United States, they call all day long to generate leads, to make money, right? To then sell them to agents like us, for example, okay? And then also, it is not unusual for a great telemarketer to be rejected, okay, by several or just a couple of customers in a row because before you reach one that actually does want to talk to you. Oh yeah, I need your help. I have a question. Wonderful, I can help you. Okay. So don't be surprised if 3 tell you, 5, 7 tell you, I'm not interested, before you find that one that is actually interested. All right. And then please don't take any rejection personally, but rather take them as an opportunity kind of to learn and experience, right? So therefore you can kind of sharpen your skills and get better at it and know what to say when they give you certain objections. Okay. All right. Now, we don't necessarily want to ask for permission and assume, right? We want to assume the sale, really. That's what we want to do. So on the left-hand side, asking for permission to do anything rarely invites a positive response, right? And when you are told no, you feel uncomfortable moving forward. And oftentimes we don't know then what to say, right? Like, oh, she just shut me down. I don't even know how to come back from that. That's why it's very important when, for instance, we set an appointment that we don't say, hey, I have an appointment available at 10 tomorrow. Are you available? You gave that client a closed answered question, right? A closed question, and meaning they can say yes or no. So they can give you ask them about one thing. The better thing to do is ask an open-ended question or give them a couple of options, meaning, oh Lord, I have to pick one of the two. They said if I'm available at 10 or 4 p.m. Which one works better for me? No, I can't say no, it doesn't work, right? So in this case, I have to pick one or the other. So there is psychological things that are basically invented or that we're utilizing in our strategy here. So you want to make sure that you follow those kind of guidelines. Otherwise, you will get shut down and you will fail to get the appointment and things of that nature. And in the beginning, that might happen, guys. This is all a learning experience, okay? And then also, you need the philosophy that you can call anyone at any given time and feel confident that you don't have to ask anyone for permission to do so, okay? Once you get that confident, nothing can stop you, okay, but yourself. And then on the right hand side, we have assuming the sale. So you always want to assume the sale and move into the close. In order to achieve an extremely high closing ratio in our sales industry, you actually must assume that the outcome of your presentation will be what you desire, which is the enrollment, okay? Now, assuming the sale means right from the beginning, and all the way through the process, you will be and remain committed to achieving that goal. All right. So don't go like that. You have to stay consistent, upbeat, good energy, and keep pushing through. All right. And then how do we overcome common objections? Now, great telemarketers overcome many objections while actually trying to close the sale. And one way to do that, guys, is the best way to do it, in my opinion, if you take away the objection by giving all the information that you're supposed to give and you're answering all of the questions before they're asking the question, right? Because there is a trend. They ask the same question. So if you start incorporating that into your presentation, or if you ever wonder why in the script, why do I have to say this? Why do I ask these questions? Because you are actually covering a lot of the objections so that they do not even come up, okay? Make sure that you actively listen to the entire objection before you actually respond. Let them talk, let them vent, let them tell you what their concern is, okay? And then always agree with them. Want to go this way. You always want to agree with them and respect them for their decision or for their concern. Okay. Acknowledge the objection and how how you agree. Okay. And then respond accordingly to overcoming that objection and quickly move on. Don't dwell too much on it. Okay. I put down there, try to feel, felt, found approach. So one way or an example you can actually do, and I would recommend that you actually try that out. Now, Ms. Jones, I understand how you feel, okay? So here I'm agreeing, so to say, I'm showing, I'm providing empathy. Oh, I get it. Yeah, I get it, okay? A few other clients have felt the same way, okay? More understanding. However, Ms. Jones, what we found is the food cart actually works great and you can utilize it at multiple grocery stores, okay? During AEP, however, what we found is if once we complete the enrollment application for you today, and you do happen to change your mind and you want to stay on the plan that you're currently on, you can simply give me a call before December 7th, and I can just quickly put you back on the plan. How does that sound, Ms. Jones? Oh, okay, I got that. I didn't know I have that flexibility. Wonderful. We're moving on. So what's your street address again? All right. Objections are often a sign that they aren't interested, so make sure you take the time to actually address the prospect's concern. Sometimes they might not fully understood what you were actually saying. So that's again why it's so important that we effectively communicate. And if somebody's a little slow, we got to go slow. Otherwise, they're not going to get it. You get to the section where you want to close the sale and they're clueless because they done lost you half out throughout the presentation. Okay. And then here is the phone call blueprint. Okay, so kind of a few different steps, how to pitch, etc. So you want to clearly introduce yourself because again, this must stimulate interest and give clear purpose for the call. Okay, you want to make sure that you pitch the product accordingly, right? So we use our pitch with which is included in our script, which I'll attach to this video where I'll go over the script. And we'll also, you get the script per email and then you have an opportunity to practice this. And then we're actually going to do some role play. And then eventually we're going to get on the phones and we're going to listen to you presenting and give you feedback. And I highly, highly recommend that you record yourself, especially if you're new to the industry, that you record yourself so that you can afterwards listen to how you present and see, okay, where can I maybe change the tonality? Where can I maybe switch out a couple of words? Regardless if I was in the field, if I'm over the phone, I used to always record myself until I kind of mastered my craft, so to say, right? Until I knew, okay, this is good, okay? And you're more than welcome to, and we do that anyway because all of our calls in using Go High Level are recorded. So we do quality assurance. We do listen to your calls to make sure that you hit all the corners and the pointers and all of that. And we do give you feedback. But if there's something in particular call, you can always send it over to us and say, hey, Kevin, do you mind listening to this and giving me some feedback? Okay. Remember, constructive criticism is and feedback is good and it's important. It'll only make you get better and it'll only drive you to a higher closing ratio. Okay. Next thing is you do want to ask probing questions because probing questions, they do lead to ensure that the conversation goes in the right direction that you intend for it to go. And then also you build that emotional sale around a specific need that the customer have. Oh, I need new dentures, right? And currently they don't have any dental benefits and you have a plan that does have dental benefits, a good amount. You want to build the reason why they need this plan over that plan, right? And simple things you could say is that, Ms. Jones, now you mentioned to me that you are on a fixed income, which I understand because my aunt, she's on a fixed income. Facts tell, stories sell, right? Oh, my aunt, so she can relate. My aunt is 2 years older than you are, and I know how sometimes there is a more month left than money, right? So I totally get it. It's not true. My aunt actually, thank God, she's financially stable, but I do have family members that are financially dependent, right? Living paycheck to paycheck. That happens. But again, here you are showing that you know what that person is going through. And if you can help them solve the problem of getting the dentures at no cost to them, will you be the hero? You will be the hero, okay? The next thing is summarize and come up with a solution. So you always want to make sure you reiterate that you have the best solution for them so that they are understanding of that. And then also you want to qualify and quote. So with qualify and quote, in this case, we do want to make sure that they actually qualify for the product, especially if you're looking for a chronic plan, a dual plan, or anything of that nature. We want to see what health concerns they have, right? Medications, we want to make sure that we get them the best deal as far as medication cost goes. And then any medical condition, because they might be eligible for a chronic plan, okay? And then we want to go over the benefits that we suggest, and we'll do that in a detailed way so that we're all on the same page and kind of go from there, all right? If there's any objections after that that do come up, feel free that you add or please answer and address those, okay? In the way that we recommend, right? The field file found technique, basically. And then next but not least thing would be that you close the sale. Okay, we assume so based on the information that I provided you today, how likely would you say does this plan benefit you, right? Oh, it really would. Wonderful. And then we'll go back into the script, right? And go ahead and start the enrollment application. Complete the application, explain to the customer what they can expect to happen within the welcome kit that is sent by the insurance carrier, okay? And then we do send out postcards, depending on if you're an hourly employee or a broker. We have a system that actually allows you to send out postcards. So once we key them into our system and complete their file, this automatically goes over to the postcard service and they will receive a postcard, a thank you postcard within the next few days, all right? As far as pitching to the client, okay, you want to spend time studying and mastering your script, because if you sound like you're stuttering over the script or anything of that nature, you probably won't be perceived as professional as you would like for the customer to perceive you, okay? The script will literally sell the insurance for you if you read it to the potential customer. And there's no need to reinvent the wheel, okay? You don't have to make your own script, come up with a new idea, That's what a lot of people do in our industry, and unfortunately they fail. So what I'm telling you is I didn't write that script from scratch, okay? I used 4 different scripts and I put them together to the point where I thought this is the best script for us to use as virtual agents, okay? And then know these scripts as well as possible so that when they derail you from something with an objection or something, you know exactly how to get right back on track, okay? And then last but not least, I would personalize your script so that it kind of makes the emotion run higher, right? So meaning once you know the script well, that you no longer have to read it, then you can add your own sauce to it. You can switch up and tweak a little things, but the general consensus of the script I would still leave, okay? And feel free to get in contact with me if you want to do that. All right. So here is where I'll send you the separate recording. It'll be attached right underneath this video, actually, where we'll go over the inbound, outbound, and LIS script. There's a few more scripts, but those are the main ones that we'll be using, okay? And you'll also have access to actually the document for the script. So besides being sent to you, you will at any time have access, the ability to access it. And then the same thing for appointment setting. We'll go over scripting, recordings, and what would be good appointment times, how often to set an appointment. I just want to touch base here as far as appointments go. In the beginning, I recommend that in general, I would not call a customer before a potential client before 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then no later than 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the summertime, when the sun is still out, right? I have called individuals as late as 8 o'clock the latest, but during the wintertime, I would not do that because it gets dark earlier. And so you'll be surprised how many seniors actually are up late. My aunt, she actually stays up until like 9, 10 or something like that. But then therefore also she gets up a little bit later, right? And then I would start off with an appointment each hour. So 1 appointment per hour. Try to, if you do set appointments, and then eventually once you get going and once you become more comfortable, I would actually put that down to 30 minutes. So all of my appointments are 30 minutes, every 30 minutes, okay? All right, and then as far as objections and rebuttals, let's see here. Great telemarketers overcome many objections while trying to close the deal. Okay. So while they're trying to always agree with the prospect, acknowledge the objection and explain the objection quickly and then just move on, all right? In order to complete a 1-call close, overcoming the objection is very, very important. You will need to cover several objections over the course of the conversation or your presentation in order for you to close the deal. Now, what we found is, guys, is that the same objection worked for both field and phone, so it doesn't matter. You just kind of need to switch it up a little bit, okay? All righty, guys. So let's take a look at the next slide. As far as objections 101, always, always, always move towards the close. Do not allow them to take control and push you around, right? And that's what I meant earlier when I was saying, if they try to take you, oh yeah, I have 6 grandkids and da 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 da, you always have to make sure that you're able to reel them back in so that you can get back on track and move forward. In general, we usually, on average, our presentations, including the close, take about 45 minutes, depending on the product that you're pitching. So just keep that in mind. If you talk too much about personal stuff, you'll notice that you'll fall behind on your appointments. And at the end of the day, you didn't get enough presentations, meaning you might not meet your closing requirement or your goals, okay? Do not allow them to reschedule or set a callback without a great explanation, right? I know this is important and I know you're busy, but this is only going to take 5 to 10 minutes, okay? One thing in our industry is like we buy ourselves time all the time. What that means is like, all right, before I let you go, what would that mean to you? Oh, they're about to hang up the phone. But all I'm doing is I'm now asking another question and then she's going to answer it and maybe even give me a little bit more, which by me listening actively, I'm going to find another problem, which I then can say something else to. And that's how it can sometimes go. Okay. Next thing you know, you've been on the phone and made the enrollment. And then also you are the advisor, meaning they are requesting the information. So you're the director, okay? It's your business, you're running it, okay? So you need to continue to, there's no need for the customer to call around because we're a one-stop shop. We basically are able to compare prices and plans and benefits from all carriers. So there's no need for them to tell you that, let me call United Healthcare. Ms. Jones, I have access to United Healthcare's. We can certainly go over that at any time, which we will do anyway, okay? So just keep kind of those things in mind as well, all right? And then always, like I said, address the objections by agreeing with the prospect. You do want to discuss the objection in detail, okay? If they say, yeah, but I don't know, I've been with Humana for so long, right? And I'm just, if it's not broke, don't fix it or whatever. You want to make sure that you address that concern. And again, here, when they say, yeah, I've been with them so long, I just added that little thing where it's that if it don't broke, don't fix it. Use those little nuggets that you hear from your customers and put them onto when they say something. Because when they tell me, oh yeah, I've been with this company for so long and I really like them, and Ms. Jones, I totally get it. They're actually with a couple other carriers, some of my favorite carriers or companies out there. They really do take care of you all as well as us as advisors, right? Now, Ms. Jones, you probably feel like because you've been with them and it's working so well, it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? The moment you say that, guys, they're like, ooh, he gets me. He understands how I feel. But all I'm doing is I'm taking this, if it don't broke, don't fix it. I'm taking this from the last customer I talked to and they told me that, right? Because they felt this way. It's the same thing. When you're a certain age, older people, they feel the same, right? And that's kind of how they are. They don't like change. So the little things that you learn from your auntie, grandma, or whatever, utilize those and incorporate them into your presentation, because that's how they're like, oh, how do you know that? Ms. Jones, I have over 400 senior clients, right? This is what I do. I take care of y'all. Oh, wow, you must be really good at your job, because that's what they're thinking, because you know those kind of things, okay? Letting the prospect know that one day we all will leave this world, right? So let's go ahead and take care of what we got to take care of here, especially in the insurance industry. And then make a statement that reminds the prospect that the decision needs to be made. And last but not least, get the application back on track, right? It's okay to go over objections, stop for a moment, but then once you addressed it and you're good to go, give it another try and say, all right, so what's the date of birth again? Or whatever you need on the application, okay? Now, if somebody does tell you I'm not interested, again, Ms. Jones, I totally understand, right? Now, if you're like my aunt, she's whatever the potential customer's age is, 72. My aunt is 72, right? Or 73, and she gets a lot of calls. So one thing I can assure you is that it won't take long or longer than like 10 minutes of your time. And if I cannot put you in a better position, I promise you, I'll let you go, okay? That way you won't have to worry about it again or think about it ever again, okay? You can get back to living. Boom, go ahead and get back to your script. Now, if somebody says, can you not just send that information in the mail for me? Sure, of course we can. We typically start the process right here over the phone. Here at your senior benefit solution, we do accept have access to most of the carriers, Ms. Jones. So what we like to do is we want to see what carrier or what specifics, right? And then basically based on that, we'll plan and we would kind of see what would be best for you. So as it says here, so we would like to see the specific carriers and plans you would like to, we would qualify for in order to get that information right to you, okay? So again, it's just, can you not just send it in the mail? I don't want to talk. I'm sure can. Yeah, let me just ask you a couple of questions and I'll get that information to you. The couple of questions is similar to before I let you go. Okay, let me just ask you a couple of questions and then you find the problem and you're able to provide the solution. Okay, I have plenty of customers over the phone that say, can you not just come out to me? I prefer doing things in person. I go extra hard with those where I like do an extra layer of enthusiasm and everything. They're like, I need to work with this guy, even though he's not coming out. Go ahead and enroll me, right? So, and then another way to say it is, can you not send me the information in the mail? The short version would just be, yeah, sure, we can. We just got to get you qualified first, okay? So let me just ask you a couple of questions and we can go from there. Here's the thing about that, guys. If you got a brochure for every company, and this is what you can tell your customer, that we represent, Ms. Jones, I will be sending you 50 different brochures in the mail, and you'd have to go through all of them, blah, 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 right? Because we do have access to some of the county's best rated carriers, but what we want to make sure is that we send you the brochure or the couple brochures that fit best for your personal circumstances, because this is not a one-size-fits-all program, right? This is actually a custom-made suit, right? So to say. So it's like, I'm not going to go get tailored or send in my suit without getting tailored or for them to measure me. I actually need you to look at me, what I have going on, so that you can then tell me what's best for me. And that's how we do it here in our industry, okay? Now, when a telemarketing lead is basically a phone generated lead, so meaning a telemarketing company does call a prospect or a potential prospect and they generated, meaning the prospect has opted in that they would like more information or that it's okay for you to call them. And then a telemarketer gives you that lead and then you call and say, well, mail me this information, mail me the information, right? Now, Ms. Jones, the reason I'm calling you today of all times is because I was going to get you the information to your that you personally requested when you spoke with our company the other day, right? However, I just need to ask you a couple of questions to best assist you before we actually get the things mailed out. Guys, we are getting the information mailed out, right? Once we enroll them, they get a welcome kit that is being mailed out, okay? You can even mail them out the summary of benefits and things of that nature and a comparison tool or whatever you'd like to do. So we will get there. We're not telling a false story. We truly are, but we do want to make a custom made program or find out what plan works best for them so that we can offer that based on their problem, all right? Now, if somebody says they want to think about it, there's a few options that you can do. Again, if you follow the guidelines pretty good, as it pertains to the script, then you shouldn't get the I want to think about it with Medicare a lot. You might get it with insurance because it's an emotional, with life insurance because it's an emotional sale. But in this case, I'm not going to read this all out. You have access to it, but you can kind of go over the details, okay? Again, you want to follow the principles that we've been using, the feel, felt, found, understand how you feel about it. Guys, there's people that say, I want to pray about it. All right, let's go ahead and pray, Ms. Jones, right? I love that you pray. Let's go ahead and pray. You have to be enthusiastic about this. If they say, I want to think about it and they just want to get off the phone, one thing I can assure you, the pickup ratio for somebody that you spoke with before is really, really low, like less than 10%, okay? So your chances now, sometimes that's why it's like you have to either say no and hope that they bite, or you might lose your opportunity and they say, call me back. And if you say, okay, you might not ever speak to them again. Happened to me many times in the beginning, especially selling life insurance, where I was like, I should not let her do that to me because I know she ain't going to answer the phone again, right? And didn't. All right, now somebody says I already have a plan. Wow, that's great, Miss Jones. You always want to be positive because they expect you now to say, well, what do you have, right? We don't do that, okay? Miss Jones, that is great news, okay? You are way ahead of the curve. One thing I do want to be sure of is that you are aware of the 2022 towards the end of this year, or this towards the end of 2022, it will be then 2023, that you're aware of the plan changes. A lot of people aren't aware of the existing plans that they made change after January 1st. And we don't want you to be stuck in a plan that isn't really what you wanted in the first year, okay? So if you're okay with it, okay, let's go ahead and review your existing plan just to confirm that everything else is going to stay the same how it is. So there is some plans that do change, okay, automatically. They run out and basically a new plan will take over, but there might be a couple of minor changes. Another thing is they can want to stay on the same plan. That is wonderful. You can definitely stay on the same plan. Let's just get it pulled up quickly here so I can answer any questions that you have and just review your summary of benefits. Guys, fly over the summary of benefits with them. Again, look at things like the dental with the co-insurance, out-of-network doctors, what is the co-payments. Sometimes they weren't made aware of, okay? And I've showed you guys the dental portion in particular. If there is co-insurance percentiles, I don't like percentiles because that doesn't tell me exactly what amount it is. You were able to uncover things. And then also remember, throughout that experience with the customer, actually build a relationship. So, hey, Ms. Jones, before I let you go, let's go ahead and write down my number in case you ever have any questions about Medicare and you cannot get in contact with your advisor. You're more than welcome to reach out to me, okay? If you've been kind enough today and you've made a friend throughout this presentation, trust me, they will call you. I had a client appointment yesterday with a lady that I couldn't help in the past. She called me yesterday. She needs more in dental. Boom, I switched her over. She's now my client, okay? And then if somebody says, I didn't email, I didn't request it, I already have a plan, I'm good. I understand, right? I understand this time of the year, right? When people are around doing their research on marketing campaigns, they're bound to click something that they don't really recall. Remember these people, and this is no kidding. I was living in West Palm Beach for a while, and I had a lady, a neighbor, she was in her 70s, and she would sit in the mornings and evenings on the patio on her iPad, and I could see it because it was so close, on her iPad on Facebook. And as you know, if you click on a Facebook ad, it pre-populates your information. And so therefore, it's really quick to submit something and you don't even know you submitted it, okay? These people are older and some of them are a little slower, so they don't know that they requested it. But there's a reason why you're scrolling on Facebook and there's an ad coming up for you. You probably just Googled health insurance, etc., right? So don't let that trick you, okay? So however, I felt I can still be of value. So do you mind if I ask you a quick 2 to 3 questions, okay? Just get back on track, address, understand, and go back to what your script is and what your goal is, okay? And then if somebody during AEP only, October 15 till December 7, tells you to have TRICARE group benefits, you can kind of go over that information. We will in general do a training on group benefits as well as TRICARE, okay? TRICARE is a veteran's benefit. My dad was in the Army for 23 years. So he has TRICARE for life. It's one of the best health insurance products that's out there. Basically, the Veterans Benefits Office, the VA, they cover really all of his healthcare expensive, okay? No matter if that's vision, dental, surgeries, doctor visits, medications, you name it, he gets them from there, okay? And so a lot of people are being taught in our industry that we can't help those individuals, or if somebody's on group benefits, that might be the best plan for them. It's not always the case. And just to give you kind of like an insight here, TRICARE, Humana actually, for example, and a few other carriers, they have plan specific benefits for individuals on VA benefits, or that we're in the military of some sort of form, or their spouse. Okay, so there is plans available designated to them, and again, I will go over a detailed presentation with you all, ask what to do with them, etc. Okay. And if somebody says, please call me back, I need to talk it over with my significant other, I apologize. There's a couple of responses that you can give, Mr. and Mrs. Peterson. I have to be honest with you. Your questions are important, and I want to be sure that you get those squared away, okay? But with that being that it's the open enrollment season, and again, you can only use this during AEP. We are extremely busy, and I can't guarantee you that I will have the ability to give you a call back. However, I understand you are busy as well. So how do you feel about squeezing in a 10-minute quick call to get the ball rolling? Okay, so things of that nature. Or the second option would be, again, hey, Ms. Peterson, that's a great idea. This is the cool thing about Medicare. They accept enrollments anytime during the month, right? And that would be that you are enrolling if somebody's turning 65 or AEP. So since we're already on the phone, we can go ahead and get you started. Then you can talk it over with your spouse, and depending on what you decide, you can go ahead and enroll him or her in the same plan, right? We'll be super fast. Or we can re-enroll both of you in a brand new plan. Once you call me back, we can look over that. Now, let's go ahead and grab that Medicare ID card number. What is that Medicare ID number? Okay. If you're selling, I'm not buying. You're going to get some people, they have that on their door. Like when I used to go in the field, they would say, if you're a telemarketer, if you're a marketer, if you're trying to sell something, if you this and this, you don't need to knock, don't go away, I'm going to shoot you. Like there's little people that have stuff like that, right? Now, thank goodness, I hate selling people. I'm simply calling to help you understand your plan changes for 2022. After that, if you're happy with the changes, great. I'll be here to answer any questions that you have that might come up, all right? So that we have, so what do you like most about your current existing plan? Okay, pretty simple, straightforward, okay? It's just they get so many calls. Everybody's trying to sell them something. We will probably act the same way when we get that many calls a day. All right. And now to wrap it up, guys, as far as leads, we're going to talk a little bit about what type of leads, how does the lead pipeline work? What is the pipeline here in this case? When to order leads and how to order leads. Okay. So the different types of leads that we have, the leads that would be calling you if you would choose to go that route, there's TV leads, meaning there's an ad on TV that a person can call in and they then get connected to an agent. Radio leads, they hear it on the radio, they call the number. And then live transfer telemarketer leads, where basically a telemarketing company calls out people and they transfer those over to you, okay? And then the other one is leads that you call. That would be, again, telemarketing leads, internet leads. So those are, for instance, SEO, Google leads. Okay, somebody sees something, they fill out the information. All right, same thing on Facebook. They see an advertisement on Facebook. We use Facebook leads a lot. They see an advertisement, they opt in, fill out their information. And then the old-fashioned way is direct mail leads. They get a postcard in the mail with the information, they fill it out, they send it back in the mail. Okay, if they do all of that, send it in the mail, doing all that, don't tell me you're not interested. You done walk to the mailbox, walk back in the house, took a pen, filled it out, walk back outside, put it in the mail in hopes that you get some sort of a response. Okay, so it's just an objection when they come back and say they're not interested, because there's too many crooks out here. Okay. And so we kind of went over this already, right? TV leads, radio leads, live transfers, okay? So any live transfers that we use, right, they are clearly calls scrubbed against the do not call list, so people can put themselves on the do not call list, okay? Prospects gets cold called by a telemarketer and then pre-qualified as a lead, and then they get warm transfers to an agent as a lead, okay? Leads that you call, again, telemarketing leads, internet leads, Facebook leads, and a direct mail leads, okay? And then as far as the lead pipeline goes, remember, not everyone you talk to will be ready to buy on the spot, okay? I had about 5 calls so far from telemarketers just calling my phone while we've been talking here. So keep leads and call them daily or in a specific follow-up dates, work old leads and generate new interests, okay? keep good notes. It's really important. If you spoke to somebody, oh, I'm in the hospital, call me back in 2 weeks, write that down on that prospect's lead in the notes section, okay? Catalog your leads based on the follow-up, lead type, and geographic area. And then also you will always need more leads to fill up your pipeline. Always, always, always. Leads are your bread and butter. If you do not buy leads, you're going to go out of business, okay? You can run around and go to the dollar store and try to talk to people there. If you want to go that route, you can certainly do that. There's a few people that have success with it, but majority of them buy leads, right? No matter what business you're running, right? You have to have inventory. Our inventory are our leads. If I'm going to stay at a hotel, I stayed at a Hilton hotel the other day, and as you guys know, that's my background. I stayed at a Hilton hotel the other day. I had to ask 7 times for a refrigerator. Okay. And the reason was they were very low in inventory on refrigerators, meaning they didn't utilize their marketing budget their budget the right way for refrigerators. Refrigerators are expensive, so they maybe bought more towels than refrigerators. Okay. So you can kind of manage your budget the way you'd like for you to manage it, but it can kind of show. So always, always buy new leads. Okay. Spend a lot of time following up with leads each day. Try morning, afternoon, and evening, and try calling from different numbers. All right. When to order leads? The answer really is always. Okay. You have to make sure that by the time you're almost done with your leads, your next batch is coming in. Do not finish your batch and then you're going to go ahead and place the next order. You're already behind. You're going to have that was the worst thing for me, being in the field on a Wednesday and being done with all of my leads for the week, and I still have 2 days to work. That's dead air. I mentioned earlier, that is time that I don't know how you're going to kill it. You're going to go on social media and chill, but you're not going to make money. You're not going to be productive. Okay. So successful advisors order leads every week. Successful advisors call their leads that they've ordered every day. Successful advisors have their account preloaded with money to pay for the leads and keep the phones ringing or the leads coming in. All right. And then successful advisors call new leads every day, follow up with the old ones every day, and answer the phone when it rings, and order leads every week. Every week when you don't have leads, it's actually a week that you would fail. Okay. You really, I can't stress enough the importance that like leads are your bread and butter. All right. You got a couple of ways to order leads, guys. You can certainly find yourself an independent vendor. I would recommend that you check with me before placing that first order with them, just to make sure that they're not overcharging you and that they're verified and compliant leads. There's a lot of vendors out there that are not compliant, and you can quickly get a lawsuit, and we don't want that. IFG also has a lead store, guys, where they sell various leads. If that's Google leads, YouTube leads, telemarketing leads, there's a whole variety on there. We'll have a link for that on the site that you can place that order. Okay. In general, depending on the vendor that you use, leads can take anywhere from 3 business days to a week to arrive. Okay. So depending on the vendor, you want to find out, and based on that, you want to find out when do you need to place your order to get them on X, Y, and Z. So to give you an example, when I was doing life insurance in particular, I had a couple of lead vendor, one that I worked with for over a year. It was a telemarketing lead vendor. It took him 3 days to generate leads. So I would order my leads on Wednesdays. By Saturday mornings, 8 a.m., I had my leads. I called Saturday morning and Sunday evening. I go in the field Mondays to my appointments. Okay. Now, if you place a lead order on Friday afternoon, remember, these are businesses, so they might not get your order in on Friday because they have a whole bunch of other people. So you have to be mindful. Don't just think about yourself, also think about the organizations that you're working with, because if you put your order in on Friday afternoon, you're like, okay, great, I should have leads by Tuesday. That's not how it's going to work. Your order might not even get handled until Monday or Tuesday, and then it's going to take another 3 days or so, depending on how many leads you order, right, until that order gets fulfilled. So just communicate with me, and I can kind of share with you as to when you should order it. If I know the carrier, if not, I highly recommend, if you do communicate with them, that you find out how long does it take to generate the leads, and let them know, hey, I would like my leads on this day. what day do you suggest that I place the order? Because you also need to make sure the leads are fresh, right? We don't want to have leads coming in our system today that we're not going to call for 2 weeks. The fresher, the hotter, the better. Okay. All right. That's it. If you have any questions, guys, feel free to reach out to me, book a calendar appointment, or shoot me a message and we can kind of go from there. Awesome. Take care.